Homestead Fred, Homestead Fred, it's your friendly neighbor, Farmer Fred.
Welcome back to the channel No Name. This time we have me and Kevin here to talk to you. So this is twice the action pack. Get ready.
Double the action,
Double the
double the
action.
drama, double the intensity, double
Pablo
the
Francisco.
drama. Die Hard 2.
So we wanted to interview you. This is an interview. We're not just interviewing Freddy.
You're a celebrity, Freddy.
No.
We're not interviewing Freddy. We're not interviewing Fredolo or Charlie Mail. We're interviewing Freddy the farmer. We need to get some information.
Sure.
So what we need to know is, how do you farm? Start.
I actually did some planting earlier.
All right, cool.
How do you farm? Where were you the night of November 12th?
The night of the farm.
Were you farming?
Yeah. So let's jump
serious?
into. I'm serious.
Josh,
I want to.
Okay.
Yo, Freddy, the
We're not
world is
playing
ending.
anymore.
We need to know now whether or not we can survive off the land. And
you can't.
You're the one.
No, I don't mean it
It's
as
a lot.
you and your
No, I know.
capabilities. I'm just saying your location, because it gets cold. So
do you think you could do that with the land that you have? Like survive off of it? Like, let's say all supermarkets are shut down. With the land that you have, I don't know how much.
The amount of land I could, but I'm not set up for that. Okay. You know, I don't have, I have my yard, and my yard is my yard, but like I have just under an acre.
Okay. Under an acre. So let's say you were, like, when you say set up, what would you need to survive off of that acre? Do you have all the seeds?
A shit load of like planted stuff. It would have to be, I would have to have a large garden, like really, my garden I would have to change my garden into like a much larger size.
Yes, but let's say that.
And I would have
you got the phone call. Biden calls you up. Biden calls you, he's like, yo, the world's over.
Biden.
And then but he's like, yo, you could only.
Biden doesn't know he's alive.
But with the land you have the seeds, you think you could make, because that's one thing I think about. It's like, do we even have enough? Because it's like so much food like that we go through in a day for you to be able to like how much effort and time. So I'm just kind of curious what an acre, if you think you
could. Also depends on what I think an acre could feed multiple families if you utilize the acre, you know?
Okay.
You don't need that big of a space to really, you need a good size, and it depends on what you grow, and you have to be aware of what things grow at what times, which I'm not aware of. Like, I don't know. I'm learning. Last year was the first year I started planting and gardening.
Yeah. What have you grown so far?
What did I grow last year?
Oh, like in your life. I want to know what you know how to grow.
I mean, it's not that difficult, but last year I grew a variety of different tomatoes. This is where we're at. Last year I grew a variety of tomatoes, yellow pear tomatoes, which are basically like cherry tomatoes, but yellow and in a pear shaped, not as sweet. Cherry tomatoes. I grew, one of my favorite tomatoes actually are Golden Jubilee, which are like just
magical,
larger yellow tomatoes, but they're like nice and sweet. Those are actually one of my favorites right now. So I'm really excited to grow those. And I grew these, they're called Cherokee tomatoes, and they're like purplish. They're like, it's almost like a purple tomato. Those are very sweet too. Yeah, they're cool. But they're more prone to infection, meaning they could rot easier depending on the environment, things like that. So this year what I did is I bought marigold seeds, which is like, let me find the flower. It just looks like a regular basic whack flower, but supposedly it's good because it kills a lot of insects.
Marigold is a flower. You put it in the garden and it helps protect your other plants.
Yeah, it does, because it kills a lot of insects. You've seen these, you know what they are. They're actually edible too. I'll show you. Yeah, a lot of flowers are
A
actually,
lot of
which is dope. Like I want to try. I want to try messing with that. These, you seen these in your garden? Those little things.
And they protect.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, so they're like a weed.
Okay, and then besides tomatoes, what else? I know you've
I grew a shitload of peppers. A lot of peppers. That was really cool. So I grew jalapeno peppers, chili peppers, green peppers, red peppers. A couple other varieties that I don't know the name of, but I had rows of peppers. My mom planted batata, so I had different. Batata was great. I'm going to continue to plant that.
like the what is it, the roots, right? So
Yeah,
they're gonna
they
be
grow
different.
underground. They're potatoes. So they grow underground.
Potatoes,
and starchier, heavier food.
I grew a lot of things. Cilantro, basil.
Do you feel like potatoes and batatas, like the starchier like roots, are harder to grow or easier to grow than like tomatoes and peppers, or easier? Or is this the same
hard.
shit? You're putting it in the ground and you wait.
Well, I don't really know what's easier or what isn't with like any type of potato or underground type of vegetable.
I
You
have
don't
a
really
question.
know because
So
it's
what?
underground. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta wait. You gotta plant it, and hopefully the soil's good enough, and they have enough room and stuff that they're gonna continue. You don't know. You can't see them. They're underground. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time to pull them out, then you check them, and then you see what your harvest is like. So that's that.
Okay.
Beets.
Kev, you had a question?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Kev did. I just want to make sure. Oh shit! Did he just freeze?
Yeah, I think he froze. That's a great
Look,
picture, though.
Yeah. That motherfucker's the whole model. There it is. Okay, now that picture's not as good. There you go.
All right, what was your question? I'm a master farmer.
So what?
For the interview?
Yeah. So what? So what? So what?
Hold on.
There we go.
He's gonna come back in overalls and a straw hat.
And a straw hat.
Now that I know what the interview is about. Now that I know what the interview is about.
That's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, now you're more credible. People are like, oh, okay, now we gotta listen
now
to
people are like, oh, he farms.
Yeah, you won't be able to put
he
it
farms.
over.
Damn.
There you go. Do you wear that in the videos or no?
No. You kidding me?
Yeah. By the way, while we're here, check out Freddy the Farmer, the YouTube channel.
Freddy the Farmer. Big shout out to
Freddy the
Farmer Fred. Yeah.
Farmer Fred, excuse me. Farmer Fred. Did I not say that right?
I didn't buy this hat, by the way.
I don't know. You did. You got 3 of them.
My thing is,
you got a closet of those hats. You got a
Can't
secret room. Yeah, it's not.
It's not working.
That's not working. That's not.
But
working,
it's just for now. Wow.
Nah, that's great.
I'm gonna leave this.
Yeah, Christmas.
So, Freddy the Farmer, I have a question. So, how did you learn how to farm? And like,
okay, that's a good question.
What got you interested in farming? Like, what motivated you to farm? You just like,
Freddy,
do it myself.
Farmer Fred Senior.
Yeah, Farmer Fred Senior, Senior Fred.
Yeah. Senior Fred.
Yep. Now my dad he saw his father planting. They used to really work their
I learned from
gardens, their field.
He learned from
his father, and he learned from his father. Yeah, so my dad just had a massive garden in his backyard, like I would say
massive. He gives away. He goes to little bodegas and he gives them stuff.
It was probably about like 75 feet by 30 feet.
How big is your little setup?
It's not that big. I mean, my garden's probably like maybe 18 by 12 or something like that. So I don't know. It was just cool because as I was growing up, my dad would just plant a whole bunch of stuff. So I didn't plant it with him. He would just work his garden. That was his hobby. That's what he enjoyed. But growing up, seeing that, at the time, I wasn't really appreciating it. But as you're just seeing that throughout your life, I was able to see plants and know what they were based off of their leaves and how they looked just from seeing them over and over again, and my father telling me like, hey, that's asparagus, hey, that's this, hey, that's tomatoes, hey, that's this. So it got to a point where my knowledge of the actual leaves and the plants, I was able to recognize what they were. And it made me feel good when I would go there, be like, hey, is this? And he'd be like, yeah, that is that. So I started picking up on it, and I just thought it was cool. And while I was out here, I was just like, yo, I got a bunch of land. And when I look at my backyard, like, unfortunately, I don't live in a tropical island, neither of us do, but like I wish that I was able to grow tropical things out here. Like, you could actually grow platano plants out here, platano trees. But they don't, the platanos won't actually
it's just a tree.
come out. Yeah, and it's not going to be as grown, but the plant itself will grow. So it's cool that you could actually, I've driven by people's houses and they'd be like, that's a platano plant, but you're not going to get any.
They have no platanos. Yeah.
Right, because of the climate. So
is there a benefit of having like a plantain tree, or just people just grow it?
It's just the way it looks. It just looks nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
do you know, like, no, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, it's all good.
No, like at this point, do you know like what to grow with like the climate that you're living in? And like,
I'm laughing at the Christmas lights.
Yeah, mad serious. See my.
Do I know what to grow?
Yeah, like, do you know enough to like, depending on the weather, because obviously where you live.
I don't know enough.
Your climate's different than.
I'm starting to learn, but fortunately my uncle Nelson, he's 70 years old, but he's been doing that since he was a kid too. So he really knows. So I love going over to his crib and just seeing. He has multiple gardens, much bigger than mine. All of them. I think he has like 3 separate ones, and they're all much larger than mine. But it's amazing watching how much stuff that he grows and how much crops he's able to provide. And he teaches me a lot. I learn a lot from him, but I also I spend a lot of time on YouTube. So I do look up things on YouTube. So that's how I've been learning. So yeah, it's dope. Actually, one of my goals, what I would like to do in the near future, is buy myself like a nice little greenhouse, just so
would be dope.
I could start working on things. Like, I have a room in my house that's kind of like I don't know if you would call it a den, but it's like an indoor outdoor.
It's like a sunroom.
It's a
sunroom.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have one of those, and I do put my plants in there, and I have an indoor light, UV ray, whatever type of light that I put on them, and I've been starting to just like seed things in there, so that way when it's time to plant, I could transplant them from the little containers into the actual ground. Supposedly you actually have more success doing it that way than just putting seeds into the ground, because not a lot of seeds will grow compared to the ratio where if you start them off in like little containers and then you transplant them after they've gained some strength, and then you put them into the ground. So
well, it's kind of bugged us to think that the natural way isn't even the best way. Natural.
So when you're saying transplant, like, what do you mean? Like, you're
transplanting is just you're transferring the plant. So you started off in like
it's a transplant. It identifies as a plant.
It's not binary.
Arrested, canceled,
channel no existence anymore after this.
No existence, bro. 0 viewers.
Yeah, so
that's real.
You've gone to like any garden at Walmart or whatever, like any type of you see them in like the little containers. So you take them and then you go ahead and plant them into either a larger pot or into the ground or whatever. So that would be considered transplanting.
Okay.
So you would have more success
because
that way.
The winters there are you can't grow anything outside pretty much in the winter, right? It's over once it gets cold.
Well, the winter's not really that bad out here. Even though we did have we
cold
had like
winter.
it was like the coldest in like 50 years temperature wise that we've seen actually here. So I had, for like the winter, you could grow broccoli, you could grow cabbage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there are still a lot of plants that you could grow at that time. Like you could plant garlic like in November, and like it'll.
So have you been growing over the winter, or you're just
I
getting your
tried. So
eyes?
I planted a lot of broccoli and cabbage. But with the cold came and killed everything. It
Because it's
got
more, it
too
was
cold.
too cold compared to the
Yeah.
normal
Oh, it
years.
got
Where a
too
normal year,
cold.
yeah,
Kevin's so interested in this farming thing.
Damn, too cold.
Damn.
you're not hungry,
Yeah.
Kevin. You don't want a snack?
I'm
a nice
actually, I had
vegetable
pizza from the garden.
I was just gonna say, can you know how to grow pizza, or is that not in the climate?
The tomatoes.
Oh, in Italy, you can grow
No,
pizza.
Freddy sent me the tomatoes,
Yep.
Okay,
and then I made the pizza with it.
Actually, you want to
Gotcha.
hear something that I
Absolutely.
thought was really interesting? So, with tomatoes, I found this video on YouTube where you would take like some sardines, like a sardines in a can or whatever, or just some raw fish, and you dig a hole and you put the raw fish in there. I just use sardines
The fish come out.
from the tree. So and then you would if you put a tomato plant like over it and plant it there, and under it there's like the fish, your production is actually way more than just planting it without.
Because it's using the
So
nutrients from the fish.
yeah, and I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
I
that with
did that.
eggshells. Like I know
Right.
eggshells are really good for stuff like that, which is interesting to think.
Supposedly coffee grains are too. So my mom actually
Yes.
saves like after she
I
makes
actually
coffee.
heard coffee grains is good.
Yeah.
Yep. So after she makes coffee, she actually saves it and she puts it on the plants. And I'm like, that's cool. That's good fertilizer. So last year I put sardines with all of my tomatoes, and I had a ridiculous amount of tomatoes. Like I was giving out a lot of tomatoes, and it was just really cool to see that I had like an abundance of tomatoes. And I don't know if maybe it would have been that way without the sardines, but from the research that I did, like on YouTube, there's certain gardeners that I follow. It was like they did the experiments of one with and one without, and the production from the one with that was just way more. So I've been doing that, and I had a shitload of tomatoes. So it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, because
so what are you doing exactly? Like you're like putting the whole fish, or like you taking the liquid, or like
it doesn't. No. Like what I did. So I just bought like 99-cent sardine cans.
Yeah, like the pack
cheap,
of sardines.
Yeah, just like cheap shit. And I would just take a sardine can and I would just empty it out, all the juice and everything. I'll just open it, throw it in there, and then
the can too, right?
the can. And then I would plant the tomato plant like a little bit above it and just leave it there. And it would pull nutrients from the soil and from that, and it provided a lot of
because I know that
fruit.
that's an issue that farmers are dealing with, because they've been just sucking the nutrients out of the ground because they just keep growing and growing on it. That like the food that we have compared to 100 years ago is like a fraction of the nutrients. So it's like you buying shit out of the supermarket, you think like you're eating healthy, but it doesn't have what it used to have. So it's kind of wild. So
supposedly we also don't take care of the land the way they used to, which makes sense. They really took care of the land back then, naturally fertilized it with whatever they had, I guess. So I mean, I don't know. Don't quote me on any of this. I literally don't know, but I would assume like a lot of biodegradable stuff or old foods, if you put that right back into the soil and left it there and tilled the soil with that stuff, that energy would transfer from whatever it is into the soil, and they probably just really took care of the soil, which had a lot of nutrients, and that would transfer over into the plants and so on and so forth. Where versus those pieces of land that, let's say like the Indians or Native Americans really took care of, after years and years and years of them not taking care of, if you go to plant there again, it's the nutrients aren't going to be the same. So it's just a well maintenance garden versus a non. But you could always go to like the store and get like fertilizer. So I had to do that. I have like 5 blueberry bushes, and when it gets like nicer out again, I'm going to go out and get some fertilizer and fertilize my blueberries and hope that I get some good production from them this year.
Yeah, I heard something too about like burning the land. I know you told me your neighbor does that. Like he burns the thing when he's done. And I heard that you were talking about the Native Americans, the Aboriginals in Australia used to do that too. Like they would have all these different pieces of land like divided up, and they'll kind of like switch it over. So like when they were done growing it, they'd burn it. They'll let the animals graze there, and then this is a spot where they would grow it, and then they kept moving it. It was your neighbor, right? Who he burns the land after he's done? Because I heard that.
No, my neighbor doesn't do that. He doesn't really garden like that. They garden a bit, but it's not like they garden.
What was that story then? Or maybe it was somewhere else that you were at that you just saw like a glow and they were like burning.
Yeah, I went to this guy who has like a small hatchery. Basically, just he grows chicks and sells them. He has like a business from it. That's where I got my chickens from, actually. I went there and there was just like a massive field that was all burning down. Like I've never seen a fire this big. It was like, think about maybe anywhere from maybe like 20 football fields worth or something like that. It was
on
huge.
Fire?
On fire, dude.
Damn.
It looked like I was just like, this is out of control. Like this is bad. Like this whole fucking thing is like, it looked dangerous.
Like so normal for them. They're like, yeah, this is,
dude.
Let it burn. Let it burn.
It looked crazy. I pulled up and I'm like, yo, should I be like driving away? Like this whole place looks like it's about to fucking burn down. Like it was crazy. But they were like, nah, it's cool. But like I could tell that they were like, it's cool, but
this could go bad at any moment.
Yeah, if it gets out of if it gets to the point where they don't, but they're fucked.
How do they keep the fire?
Imagine how like dry their fucking land is.
Yeah, and it gets really, especially very hot in the summer. So a lot of that is just like dry, dead grass. So that could really spread. Like I burn garbage. So,
good old days.
As I was burning things, a lot of my grass was dry, and the fire really started spreading amongst my yard. Luckily, like what I did was I took my hose and I made like a water perimeter, essentially. I like really wet it. So I did that, and I had the hose next to me, and I also had some gallons of water just in case it got out of control. But it like in certain areas, it wasn't anything major, but you could see it like spreading. And I was just like, yo, if I didn't wet that, this yard could have essentially, gone out of control. I actually bought something today, which I'm excited about. I bought
what's that?
2 persimmons trees. So persimmons is a fruit.
Oh, okay, yeah, the little right? Little like
they're larger. They're probably like the size of like an apple.
Never mind.
They have almost like a tropical taste. Let's see.
They do they remind you of guavas in a way? Is that kind of like what they're like? Like mushy in the inside a little bit, or no? Or
they are. There's different breeds. There's different breeds. So I got 2 of them. I got 2 persimmon trees, and I hope that they grow. So one of them is a Tanaishu, I think it's something like that.
Tanaishu. Growing some Japanese shit, bro.
Tanaashi. It is, I think, like a Japanese fruit.
Sounds like it.
Takashi.
Tananashi persimmon.
Tamagotchi, the samurai.
Tamagotchi. So they look like this. That's what persimmons look like.
Yeah.
So I bought.
They look almost like peaches.
Right. So I got 2 types of them. So the Tananashi one, they're Asian persimmons. That one has more of like a texture of an apple, like more of a crisper texture.
Yeah.
And then this other one I got is called Fuyu. It's Fuyu persimmon, and that one is has like a more jelly, mushy type of.
What make you pick
texture.
Those?
Like plum?
Kind of. Let's see.
Or like I would say peach, but because like plums are like super soft.
Like you can kind of see.
Yeah.
Yeah. What made you pick those instead of something like more regular, like apples and oranges?
Yeah, like apples and shit.
I just I wanted to have something like kind of different, and I bought a fig tree, so I'm excited for
these.
Yeah. I bought a fig tree, so I bought those.
Good.
Yeah, so I bought those 3, because like in my backyard, what I would like to do is I have a couple trees, and trees could be kind of boring, especially like I just feel like they occupy space, and it's like I'd rather have a tree there that produces something. Like I have a pear tree that was here when I got here, and I got blueberries, so I got 5 blueberry bushes. The pear tree was back to the pear tree always has like a ridiculous amount of pears, to the point where it gets so overloaded with fruit that the branches are like overhanging, like touching the ground of how much it produces. All right, Mom. So I was just like, I want to be able to turn, like if I was in DR or something, I would love to have like mangoes and a whole bunch of different fruits and things like that. But I don't have that,
Yeah.
tropical climate here.
Tropical, yeah.
So I just did research of like what you can grow out here, and persimmons is one of them. And it's like it has a supposedly like a tropical-ish type of flavor to it.
Sweet.
And I haven't, right. So I haven't really had that, like tasted persimmons like that. But I just think it would be dope to have different
Yeah, you
fruit
want something
trees
different.
in my
Yeah,
backyard.
that's cool.
So
That's cool.
and
I'm
I wanna
assuming there's
try both
not any
Texas.
maintenance, right? Like with trees, you just plant them and then the rain
Yeah,
takes
I
care of it.
mean-
Like, do you have to water a tree? I've just never seen.
I mean,
anybody
yeah,
water a
if they're
tree.
not getting water,
Yeah.
if it's
Okay.
not raining
Does
enough,
it-
you gotta
does-
water your plants.
Does it say how long it'll take, like for the tree to like produce?
I don't really know that, to be honest, but it'll probably take a couple years. Maybe like the
makes sense.
first 4 or 5 years to like produce from like start.
Wow.
But I didn't buy it from start. So they're probably like that big right now from the ones that I bought.
Where are you buying these?
You just go to
The tree store.
They're called a plant
The
store.
tree
It's called
store.
a nursery. A nursery is a plant
Okay.
store where you
Okay.
buy like
Nursery.
plant- nursery, like a
Oh,
nurse.
nursery.
Like
Oh,
a
okay.
nursery, like a
Nursery.
daycare nursery.
Yeah.
Right. And they were cheap. They were like $10. It was less than $10. It was like
Oh,
$9 and change. So I was like, this is great. Because
see, that's the crazy thing because people don't grow food on their land and they go and they buy food and it's
Right.
you get $10 and you get free fruit with very little maintenance.
Mhm.
I'm sure, like those
Yeah.
pears, you probably throw away
That's
a lot
amazing.
of pears because you have too much.
I don't
of them.
really, to be honest, it's way
to
too
give 'em
much.
out.
I don't really eat a lot of the pears. It's not like they're like, the ones that you see at the store where they're like perfect, like they have brown spots on them and things like that. They're still good. They're sweet. They're good pears. Like if I love pears that much, like my neighbor tells me, she's like, can I come in your backyard and like grab some pears? She makes like homemade foods like pies and things like that. Like
Ooh.
she'll buy fruits and like freeze them and like make natural pies and things like that out of them. She does like canning and things like that. You know what canning is?
Like they,
Yeah.
Canning
like
and jar
She's
is just
making,
like
yeah.
preserving food.
She's preserving
Yeah,
it.
Exactly. So she does that, and she was like, "Can I get along with her really well? They're very sweet people." So she was just like, "Can I come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like take whatever you want. Like I'm not doing anything with them. Like, but they're just there." So I want to eventually get my yard to be producing, multiple things. Like hopefully they produce, because you could have a persimmon tree or a fig tree, and then maybe it produces
Just
for a year or
doesn't,
two, and then it not necessarily
Yeah,
dies,
then
but
it
it
dies.
no longer produces fruit. So that
Mhm.
does happen.
Ah.
That
Like
makes
my
sense,
uncle
but that's
has
an easy investment. Yeah.
yeah,
You
I
only
mean
put
it's $10.
$10. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's $10.
Yeah,
So I
that's
spent-
true. And all you're doing is planting it.
Yeah, and then it's kind of cool,
Right?
honestly. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no, it
just
sounds dope.
it's cool to just watch it grow and think like, yo,
Yeah.
I bought that.
Yeah,
Like I look forward to in 2 years, 3 years, hopefully like it'll be fully matured where it's like I could go outside and grab some fresh fruit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just think that's
You should
that's
learn
dope.
how to do the canning too, like preserving
yeah.
shit. Because
I mean, I have
especially
the
because she could
idea.
teach you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. I mean, you basically just you get your jar.
Buy a cannery.
No, you don't even have to do
Right?
that. You just need water and jars
Okay.
and some vinegar actually. So you
Whoa.
get a jar, and you put your stuff in it, and then you cap it, and then
Oh, you're just like, okay.
you want to take the jar and put it in boiling water with vinegar, and that will take out all of the air in it and
Wait,
seal
you're
it.
pouring boiling water in it, or you're boiling the jar?
You put the
Wait,
jar
is she
into the water. Boiling the jars.
using mason jars, or is she like canning like using
Not like a can.
aluminum cans?
I should have said
Oh,
jarring.
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 I
That's
feel like
jarring.
that's jarring.
Yeah. So actually, I want to try like learning all of that stuff. I just think it's cool that like
It makes sense.
we're so
Especially
we're so wasteful with stuff, but like
mad waste.
if I really wanted to, I could take those pears, peel them, cut them up, and freeze them. Like we actually, me and my mom been, especially my mom, she's been freezing a lot of fruits and stuff, and she makes a lot of natural juices from it. Like or even like lechosa, papaya. We freeze that, we make shakes out of it, whatever. So it's great that you could just utilize these things and freeze them, and then later on just take them out and make smoothies out of them, make drinks, and you just have it's still fresh. If you freeze it at the time that it's fresh, it's still going to be fresh at that time. It's just frozen at a later period. So I've kind of just been into that.
Like brine is jarring like basically brining.
You could brine things.
It sounds like pickling.
Right?
Isn't that what you do with pickling?
That's
It's
what
like you put a cucumber in, you put vinegar.
You're brining it. You're letting it sit for longer the better.
I think
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, maybe you have to maybe you put salt with the cucumbers, and that's what makes it. Because I know that there's definitely vinegar.
You could put vinegar. Yeah, like I think they boil water, then vinegar, then you add like your herbs and shit.
She makes a lot of pickles, my neighbor. She makes banging pickles, bro.
Oh, I love pickles.
So good, dude.
Good.
She gave me a jar of sliced sweet pickles that she made from her cucumbers that she made.
Was she sweetening it with? Did she tell you? I'm assuming probably.
I'm not sure. To be honest, she didn't tell me.
They probably use sugar.
That's what I was gonna assume is sugar, but she could probably put some sort of fruit in it, or something. I'm curious.
Yeah, whatever it is, it was literally up there with the best pickles I've ever had. It could have easily been the best.
Are you growing cucumbers?
I do have seeds for cucumbers. I'm not growing them right now. Yeah, but I want to.
Then that'll be good because you can make pickles,
right? And have cucumbers.
And that's
that all sounds so fun
because that's fun because you can make it your own. That's the cool thing about brining. Like you can add whatever the fuck you want in this brine, and make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to
Freddy's pickles,
like some Freddy's pickles.
Freddy's pickles.
I grew
eggplant. Eggplant is dope. I ate my own eggplants. That was really cool watching. I had like regular purple eggplant. I grew some white eggplants that were tinier. The white eggplants weren't really that good. It was just cool to be like, I never knew that white eggplant existed. So it was cool to grow them and see them there. I didn't enjoy them that much because they're like small, so it's like a lot of work for like a small. It's not worth it. In my opinion. Like if you're gonna plant something, if it's gonna occupy space, and I'd rather get something that's gonna produce more fruit.
Yeah. Now, did you get a good amount of yield from the eggplants? Like you were able to grow a bunch of them, or was it like just a handful?
I didn't get a bunch of them, but I did get. They were small though. It wasn't like big eggplants. I planted them too late in the year.
What's too late for eggplants in your climate?
I don't know. I would say,
or what's a good time?
I don't know. I would say it's probably best to start like early spring. Like especially if you're doing it from seed. But I bought them, so I actually went to the store. A lot of the stores, even like your local supermarkets, will have like little plants that they'll sell like $4.99 or whatever, like already grown. So those are good to get, and I was buying those, and I was able to get maybe like I think I only had maybe 2 or 3 eggplant plants, and only 2 of them really provided a harvest, and maybe I had like around 6 to 8 eggplants. But they were good. They were small, but I did use them.
So you're saying you were late because the weather, or just because like they just didn't grow? Like you didn't have enough time.
Yeah. I don't think I planted them early enough. I started planting actually late. So I just got inspired like in the spring, but like maybe like Marchish, and then that's where I like kind of started maybe. Maybe I started like in April or May or something. So I didn't take full advantage of the time. You gotta like when you're doing this, people who know, they know like, oh, now's the time to plant this. Now's the time to plant this. I didn't know any of that. Like I didn't.
That's how you learn.
Oh, let me just plant some shit. Like that's really what it was. I was like, let me just plant some stuff.
I mean, I would have done the same.
Exactly.
How long did it take for the eggplant? Like how long does that from plant?
I don't know because I bought the plant.
Okay.
So I don't know how long it might take, but I would assume just based off of my experience, it's probably best to start seeding. Probably like around now or next month. To get them fully grown, like not fully grown, to get them fully grown by in a proper production time.
Avocados are easy to plant, right?
It's not out there, right?
I can't grow avocados here.
Tropical, yeah.
You could grow an avocado
but I've seen like people do it indoors.
Yeah, I've seen the shit where they like put a hole through it and they put it over the water.
Yeah, with two toothpicks or some
Toothpicks,
shit.
Yeah.
Nelson, my uncle Nelson has an avocado plant. It doesn't produce. He has
so it's mainly for the plant, but not for the actual.
Well, he tries, he hopes that he can get something from, like, things that we can't really grow out here are like oranges, limes, but my uncle does it because he has this big like a basin, like a big bucket essentially, but it's not a bucket, it's much larger.
I know.
Yeah, so he has multiple lime trees, and what he does is he keeps them outside, like in the summertime, spring and summertime, when they could actually withstand when they could be outside during that temperature. But in the winter, he just drags the buckets into his garage so they don't die. And he always gets a bunch of limes, and I'm like, I want that.
It's dope.
I just think it's so cool. You know what I'm saying?
That's
he has lime trees, he has orange trees. The orange don't really get to produce like oranges,
They're
but
not big. Okay.
Right. But have you heard of Dominicans use it a lot in their cooking, like naranja agria? Which is just, sour.
Bitter oranges.
So, bitter oranges.
Oranges.
So so we actually have an orange plant that's growing, and like it's great for just acidity. Like if you're making beans or something, instead of adding vinegar or things like that, or lime, you could use naranja agria. Or even like with meats. Like when I make barbecue ribs, I love adding an orange, the citrus of an orange to it, because you don't really know that. People don't know that that's on there, but it gives it a really good flavor. Like I'll put barbecue sauce and things on there, and I'll squeeze, instead of like a lime or something, I'll squeeze an orange over it, and it gives it a really good acidity.
Fire.
But a
that shit is good.
flavor. Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, it's interesting because you guys aren't that far from Florida, and like Florida is like known for their oranges and limes and shit. I know they have way more water and humidity and crazy people. But it's weird because you guys aren't that far.
And K2.
I
was like the weed, the K2.
Yeah, the fake weed.
You sure you can buy a bodega?
Aesthetic weed, bro.
What else did they have out there? Bath salts. That's what
bath salts, my favorite.
You could grow those.
And Flocka. Flocka was a drug that was just like,
That's
taking over. Flocka. Yeah.
Right now it's taking over?
I don't think it is right now. Weight. I think fentanyl's taking over, but Flocka was like a drug that really like took over Florida, and they like
I never heard that shit.
It turned people like crazy and
zombies.
Like, yeah,
that's what it sounds like. Flocka. Yeah, we should try it out next time we hang out. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
I'm good.
Let's do it right now.
I'm trying to lose weight.
That's great.
Cool. So when are you gonna start growing drugs? That's the next question. That's the real.
I do want to grow. All right, I'm not gonna grow any drugs, but I do want to. I do want to experiment with growing mushrooms, like
food mushrooms.
Yeah, food mushrooms.
Not psychedelic mushrooms.
Not psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah.
Food mushrooms.
And it's interesting because they're mad different.
Isn't like
fucking
shiitake mushrooms like the most common?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
I think shiitake.
Supposedly it's a profitable business. Like people have like let's say a garage, you dedicate a garage to farming mushrooms.
Yeah, because they're mad expensive, so it makes sense that you'd be able to flip.
Yeah, them. Certain ones you could really turn into a profitable business if you dedicate yourself to that.
That's not something you're interested in, right? Or maybe, hold on, maybe that's what you're gonna say.
At one point, I was looking into like, yo, I got this sunroom or whatever. I was like, I could get a bunch of shelves and plant things, and you can make a business selling certain things like microgreens. Microgreens are like bean sprouts.
Like bean sprouts.
Like right. Okay. So those grow pretty rapidly. Like
what's the other one? Alfalfa.
Alfalfa sprouts.
Alfalfa. That's another. They look like sprouts.
Yeah, so sprouts is one of the microgreens, but there's people, if you like look it up on YouTube, they have like full running businesses, and they just provide it to like local restaurants of different forms of microgreens.
Why is that? Like,
why is what?
Yeah, why is that like so profitable, like microgreens?
The turnaround time. So because they're small, fast. So it doesn't really have to grow into this massive plant. So you could go ahead and have you could have a successful business off of two shelves with racks, and just have different type of microgreens, and they should grow and be fully grown in a turnaround time of maybe like 2 to 3 weeks. So,
oh shit.
And then you could go ahead and just sell those and have, to restaurants. So if you have those, contracts with restaurants or wherever it is, it's like, hey, I could provide you with this fresh produce consistently, and they agree with you, whatever you have to deliver it, or have people pick it up, however you want to run your business. But there are successful microgreen businesses, and I was like, yo, that's really cool. It was inspiring. And I was like, do I want to do that? And I was like, I don't think I really want to do that, but I thought it was cool,
Yeah, no, that's cool. That'd be a cool way to make
that's
it.
That's like truffles.
Right.
Yo, truffles, man.
Yeah, like them, like people
provide fresh
sell
truffles
to restaurants. They like do a whole bidding war. Like, yo, you want these? Like,
yeah,
you can get these.
I know you need like dogs and shit for them to like sniff out the truffles and find it.
Out. Yep,
it's kind of crazy. So it's like a scavenger hunt,
and it's like a specific time of the year.
Yep,
where they have these dogs like looking for these fucking truffles, and like it's crazy.
Mad
shit,
money.
Like how much they make doing that shit is nuts.
I can imagine with the mushrooms too. That makes a lot of sense because those things are not cheap.
Right.
You get some like high
especially
quality
truffles.
Shit. Yeah.
So it's cool, man. I've been really enjoying.
But are mushrooms easy to grow?
Like that?
Like how? Like just like regular mushrooms?
They
like
seem mad easier to grow.
It seems like it, yeah.
It seems. I don't really know much about it, but
I know they need to be dark. The place needs to be
right. Is that
a lot of moisture in the air,
humidity.
That I don't really know, but I think there needs to be like, some humidity in there. Like some people will take, for example, like a roll of toilet paper and just soak it, and then like put the seeds like on it or in it, whatever, and put it in like a bag or something like that where it holds the humidity, and they'll just start sprouting like crazy. Like if you pull up a YouTube video on like mushrooms.
Wait, what happened?
Your toilet paper mushrooms. Your ass is clean when you shit that out.
That was just something.
Out for you.
That was just something I saw.
That's crazy.
You don't have to do. You don't have to do it in
toilet paper.
No. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense with toilet paper because it gets so damp. Like
exactly,
it's intense. So
and they'll soak it. They'll take out like the cardboard in it. So they'll just take a roll of toilet paper, soak it, take out the roll of cardboard, and then they could just go ahead and spread the seeds and stuff, and then put it in like a bag to hold the humidity or whatever, and it'll start sprouting. I'm like, yo, that just looks cool. Like I love mushrooms, and I want to eventually start messing around.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like another wave. It's like it's a fucking science experiment. It's like cooking.
That's
it's like, let me see how good it'll come out when I make it.
That's the whole
like very accomplishing when it's like it comes out and you're like, oh look, the shit is alive. Especially if it's delicious. That's another thing. It's like the level of pride that comes with that. Good. Especially if you don't have to go to the supermarket because of it. It's like but you're not saving money though, right?
Level of appreciation. Sure. I mean, you can absolutely. You can. I mean, like for example, you could go buy a little packet of seeds, and it'll be like $1, $2, 50 cents.
But like the manure, the water, the time. Do you feel like you're,
maybe time wise, maybe time. And it is a hobby, so I don't look at it like I'm not doing it to save money. I think you absolutely can save a lot of money as far as if you would normally go ahead and buy a bunch of zucchinis, I could just grow a bunch of zucchinis off of getting I could spend $2 on a pack of seeds and grow, 20 zucchini plants, which will grow who knows how many zucchinis. You know what I'm saying? So,
and how many more seeds that you can then grow more.
Exactly. And you can still keep those seeds and so on and so forth. So
keep doing it.
Exactly. But like one thing that's good of my setup, like at my house, I have a well, and I have it connected to like my house as far like I have a hose that provides water from well water, which means I just have access to free water. I don't pay for that water because I have a natural well. So I water my gardens with that. I water it with well water because it's free water. I don't have to spend.
That shit just fills itself up with the rain, right? Is that the idea?
That's it.
It's crazy. Do you know how long, like how much water you'd have to like get out of it to like run out? Like what's
I've never run out, and last year we did go through a dry spot where it was like really dry for a while. But here in Alabama, it rains a lot.
Okay.
More than really? I like. Yeah, I've experienced a lot of rain down here, and I don't like that. Like to the point where like my backyard gets it's become it could get like muddy in certain areas because it's just overflown with water. So like it can't hold any more water. But that just that also depends on what your landscape looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more in an area that kind of sinks down, so a lot of water goes into it. Or versus if you're on a hill, it'll trickle down. You'll be better off.
You'll be good.
So, but I get a lot of water, is what I'm saying. So my well gets a lot of water. So I've never run out, and if I ever do, I also have my regular hose water, you know, that I could pay for. So, but the water I use comes from my well. So to answer your question, I don't really spend that much on it aside from, you know, buying my seeds or if I wanted to buy a pre-made plant. You know what I'm saying? Like I went to the store and spent like less than $20 on seeds because I just bought
a bunch of different shit. You got mad shit for that $20. And then the manure, I'm assuming the manure, maybe the tools are the most expensive thing.
Yeah, but
the tools you buy once you're done.
It's also tools. It's like normal. You have a house. You're gonna need the tools.
So the manure.
You're gonna need tools.
Is the most expensive thing then?
Yeah, but it's not like you have to continuously buy the manure. You're not doing that.
Okay. You put it down the first time, and then there's still enough nutrients in the ground where.
Right.
Oh, so yeah.
So this question has nothing to do with farming. But is there someone that maintains the well, or like you guys maintain the well? Like you guys check it, like make sure it's good.
I don't do
just
anything.
Like there's someone that goes from the fucking town and like goes in, like checks the well. Like nah.
So no without anybody doing anything, it stays well.
The well is well. It's all well.
It's always well. It's all.
Well. Yeah. I mean, thank God I haven't had any issues or anything like that. But it was here when I bought my house, so I don't.
See,
and it's close to your crib.
It's right here, outside,
behind the door.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, it's in my closet.
Is it one of those wells that you like throw a bucket in and you're pulling it up, or is it just something underground?
It's not. How's that work? Yeah, it's not like a well where it's like there's a hole and you got to watch out.
That's what I imagine.
Yeah, it's not like that. So it's. I don't know what it looks like on the ground, but
yeah, it's just on the ground, and then you have a hose.
Like my neighbor has a well too, but they bought like an outdoor pump, so there is a manual pump that you can pump and like get a bucket from as well. But my well system is actually connected to my house, so whoever had this previously,
smart.
So the water that I get is literally comes out of a hose. But that hose water comes from my well. So however they set it up, it's integrated into my home. So one of my hoses and all different. One of my hose is providing me natural.
You gotta cut this out, man.
Rainwater. One of my. Yeah. So that's cool.
Say yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. Now the next thing I want to go.
Yeah, we're gonna be done.
Yeah, we're gonna be done.
Kevin and I.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm innocent, baby. So not only do you have vegetables and so on, but you also have your chickens. So now do you?
Yeah.
Which
we didn't get to
great timing.
Chicken,
great timing, bro.
Chicken head.
Everybody's complaining about the egg, so I was cracking up immediately when I'm like, oh, Freddy knew. Freddy saw this coming. He got it. He got himself the chicken.
You know what's funny? That's all I think about. Like when it comes to like people complaining about eggs, I'm like, damn, Freddy's good right now.
I'm good.
Freddy's good right now, bro.
Yeah,
because these egg prices are nuts.
Yo, it's scary, bro. I went to the supermarket and
scary. No, it really is.
Yeah.
I was looking at the prices of things, and I'm like, how are people making it? It's nuts, bro.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
The cost of food is like, yo, this is nuts,
bro.
What's $100 getting you now?
I did groceries recently, and like the amount that I paid, like it's just like I might as well just go out to eat, bro.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
I might as well go to a restaurant.
A lot of people.
I might as well eat.
So crazy,
and I still save money.
It's nuts.
So this is a good way to get the video pulled down, but yo, with all these food processors that are going on fire, there was like over 100 in the last couple of years, and then recently 2 of them got hit by airplanes. What are the fucking chances 2 food processors get hit by airplanes? All these chickens are fucking dying. So it's like, oh, surprise, the eggs are going up. There's fields of dead cows. And it's like, and this was, a year ago, you started hearing about the food processors going on fire. And then when people start talking about the food prices going up, it's like, of course. Right. Of course. Because that's what was being put together. That's what's happening. All these places are being bought up by fucking, I'm not even going to say his name.
Right.
And then fucking a bunch of them are going on fire. Animals are just disappearing. And this is actually why I brought up the chickens, is the feed that you use. You use local feed for your chickens?
I do. I'm glad you brought that up, because another scary thing is a lot of people experience their chickens no longer producing eggs, meaning they were infertile.
You hear about this, guy?
I didn't hear that. I don't know about
on
this.
The news.
That's
so
terrifying.
So a lot of people experience their chickens just out of nowhere just stop producing eggs. They became infertile.
Yeah, and listen to this. Then they switched over to local feed, and then the chickens were fine.
They started producing again, meaning so that the feed, feed that you might get at a more commercial place, like for example, a more commercial place to get farm stuff is like a Tractor Supply. That's like a corporate thing. And I think one of the foods, one of the brands that you get dog food, cat food, is I think Purdue. If you see
if you get, that's the one. That's the one.
I know. Yeah. Pedigree.
I don't know.
Pedigree is like dog and cat food.
Yeah.
It might be. So, but
Pedigree.
It's just interesting to think damn, whoever is doing this in a conspiratorial way.
Could be an accident.
They're fucking.
But you can't help but think something's going on.
I don't believe in them at all. I do think that people are doing things on purpose to try and mess this thing up. It's too coincidental. You know what I'm saying? Why did they go last year telling people, yo, your farm, you gotta cut it in half, or your farm, you gotta make it smaller. You can't produce all this. We gotta stop your farm, burn all your crops, or the government's gonna fine you.
Yes, they were paying them. They were telling the farmers. They were saying
they pay. For
every acre of food you get rid of, that you destroy, we're gonna pay you. So, and where's that money coming from? When the government says we're gonna pay you, that's our money. That's the taxpayer.
You're paying for it.
Yeah. So essentially, we were giving money for them to destroy the food so our prices can go up in food. Yeah, that's the only thing I can imagine. I can only imagine the reason why you would destroy food is so that the supply goes down, so the prices go up. Some people were saying it was a supply chain issues, right? There wasn't as many truck drivers, so you wouldn't be able to drive the food to places. But that doesn't make sense to spend more money.
Well, that was all possible because of COVID, because they could go ahead and say, and whether this is true or not, I'm just saying they can go ahead and say, hey, listen, there's this, because of the pandemic. What words can we use? Because some words are
pandemic.
I'm beeping all the shit out, bro.
Are you really?
Those single words, I'm gonna
beep. Okay. Redacted.
Yeah, those words. But you can keep just because of the event.
Somebody that I watch uses survasive.
I think you could say COVID.
Survasive sickness.
I think it's okay to say COVID.
Survasive sickness.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
So I wanted videos to stay up.
So because of the survasive sickness, they were able.
Because you could say I love COVID.
Yeah, but the programming doesn't know that.
They detected that shit.
We need as many views as we can get.
It's not.
What are you saying, Freddy? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, it's all good.
I didn't mean to COVID you off.
So because of the survasive sickness, they were able to go out to these large farming places and say hey, your crops are contaminated or could have been contaminated. Therefore, you can't go ahead and sell those foods. So you have to go ahead and burn your crop. And if you don't, you could be fined, but normally you would get money off of that. So the government's going to pay you a certain amount or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then think about how much that increases the price of food. Correct, because they already put all the money. The farmer took money out of his pocket to grow the food, put in all that work. And then he had to put in all that more work to destroy the food and then grow new food, right, later on. And now we're paying the price, not just out of our, our cash that we're using at the supermarket, but from our taxes, because our taxes paid to destroy it. And then now you have infertile chickens because of the feed that is coming from the big companies, food processors getting shut down, chickens just dying magically, cows dying magically, like all that shit.
And I think I read recently that eggs now, like, I guess the shit that they're pumping in these fucking chickens, that now,
like steroids,
people who are people who are eating, like, I guess a certain amount of eggs are like getting blood clots.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because the same man that bought a bunch of farmland, the person's name that we're going to mention, do you know who we're talking about, Kevin?
BG?
Yeah, BG. Kevin's frozen.
Sleepy.
BG.
Kevin's taking a nap.
Yeah. So BG, I think, mentioned, I think I saw it, the interview, I'm not 100% sure, but ended up mentioning that they could go ahead and put these things into the food so we can ingest the thing if you weren't interested in getting the jab. Like, for people who weren't getting the jab, they could go ahead and put this into the food, and you could ultimately end up soaking in whatever it is that they wanted to soak in.
I probably have it now.
Well, the eggs from omelet.
I don't think we're there right now, but that was like the idea, and that was the plan. Which makes a lot of sense. If he's buying all of this blood clots, farmland, right?
Because that's one of the combinations. Once you said blood clots with the eggs, I'm like, oh wait, there's another thing that's causing blood clots. So it's interesting.
Another interesting thing,
I don't know, man,
regarding the eggs.
It's gonna grow food.
Okay. No, está trabajando. It's connected, man.
Oh, you're in trouble.
That's a WEF. Like, you're not allowed to talk about that.
Somebody, okay,
They say you're mobbing.
Another study.
Go interrupt him now.
Go now. She got a message on her phone directly from BG. Supposedly there was another study too which correlates conspiracy-wise. This is all alleged, but
yeah, this is all conspiracy,
right?
All conspiracy. We need to fucking put a disclaimer. This is all conspiracy.
Yeah, this is all for entertainment. None of this is real. We don't. Yeah, this is for fun. It's entertainment. This is not financial advice. But supposedly egg yolks, they helped build immunity to the cervasive sickness. Okay, or something along those lines. The natural eggs and egg yolks provided certain proteins that help build your immune system, which is interesting to think about. If they're making eggs extremely expensive, getting rid of all these chickens, or making chickens infertile. Okay, with the idea that they're trying to spread this thing, whoever they are, or spread the jab. If you are eating eggs or eating a bunch of yolks and things like that, that boosts your immune system and actually might fight the actual jab thing itself. I forgot exactly what the study was, but there's something. Look, type in eggs yolk, and the cervasive sickness type of thing. And
just the fact, how silly that is. Like, there's a correlation between the two, eggs and the sickness. Like, that's the world we live in right now.
That's the world.
There's a correlation now to that.
Yeah. So go to Farmer Fred's YouTube channel. Learn how to grow.
Farmer Fred doesn't have crops. Farmer Fred doesn't have chickens. Farmer Fred doesn't have eggs. Farmer Fred has nothing.
No, I don't got nothing.
He's an actor. CGI.
I lied. This is entertainment. I lied. This is entertainment. I have nothing. Do not come here. Do not come here. I have nothing.
You'll own nothing. Be happy. And talk about the World Economic Forum and the eggs. So they put out a list not too long ago where they were like rating the healthiest foods, like what foods you would rather have.
Oh,
eggs were lower than like Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah,
right.
Shit like that. They're just pushing
Why?
all the
They're
same
not
shit.
trying to have you have these things because they don't want you to boost your immune system. They don't want you to have these natural things that are actually helping you prevent you from getting these things. If you're not getting the thing, you most likely not getting the jab.
They're also in that like
was it number one
the
like
climate
Lucky
religion.
Charms or some shit?
Yeah, they had Lucky Charms on there. They were saying like
top
beef,
5.
Beef is terrible for you.
Yeah,
but like eat fucking Lucky Charms. And like it's a lot of the stuff that has to do with fucking climate where they're in a religion now. So they think there's certain foods that do more damage to the environment, and those foods are going to tell you they're not as healthy. So that you don't eat as much because it's bad for the environment if you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Lucky Charms, we make it in a fucking factory. We don't give a fuck.
Right.
And
it's a whole bunch of chemicals. You're going to get cancer from it. They're going to make a whole bunch of money off the medicals and the pharmaceutical companies, and they're going to keep you in that business. Yo, I heard sugar, which makes sense. I heard sugar is like food for cancer.
Oh, yeah,
which makes a bunch of sense.
Sugar.
It makes sense. You would not find that much
sugar. They always say sugar is like the number one killer, bro.
Like, yeah, it's the most addictive.
Sodas,
it's the thing
I love that shit. Well, not so. I love like cookies and shit, like brownies.
Cookies
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's like classic.
I mean, peanut butter considered like.
It's mad sugar peanut, yo. Look at that shit, bro. It's mad sugar.
Peanut butter?
You can tell it's mad sweet, especially if you have like Skippies or something like that.
Peanut butter.
Me too.
I love peanut butter.
Like as I get older and I have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, I feel it. Like I'm like going into a coma.
Yeah.
So because it's the peanut butter, it's the jelly, and it's the bread. All that shit sugar.
That's true. Bread.
Yeah, I have a crazy jelly,
too. But maybe preserves, like natural sugars.
And then organic peanut butter.
I have a question.
Make your own peanut butter.
What is the time span for this? I'm having a good time. I don't know how long you're trying to make this.
I'm hanging out.
Okay, so we don't have a time constraint. Do we have
some topics
you want to
go? For me, but I make my own rules. I live my own life, but my own rules.
Do we have any other topics you guys wanted to touch on? Do you like where we're at?
Go for it. We're chilling. Doesn't have to be one thing or the other.
Okay.
As long
as I didn't know. I didn't. You say you were conducting an interview. I didn't know if you had more things lined up.
Oh, you're saying like to go back to farming instead of talking?
No. I'm just saying. Did you have topics?
Yeah, we went off the rails.
No, but
we just went off the rails. But then there's also like
this is what I wanted to do.
This is kind of connecting to farming because it's
that's why. Because I think
instead of eating Lucky Charms, maybe you should start farming.
That's kind of the question. This is a conversation more people need to have.
What I hope you guys and any viewers out there do, I hope that you plant something and just watch it grow, and preferably something that could provide you some sort of fruit, or you could get something. Have a tomato plant, but whatever it is, I encourage you to plant something just because I find it fulfilling, and I think you'll be able to find it fulfilling and peaceful, and also you'll have a lot more respect for that thing when you produce it yourself, when you water, when you see it grow. Like I have a bunch of cilantro and some plants growing right now. And the day before yesterday, there was nothing. And now today, they're all sprouting. And I'm just like, this is dope. I wish I saw them come out because they weren't there and now they're there. And it was literally overnight. So it was just dope to see.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like magic because you see it. And it's like you have this fucking massive, like we had these zucchinis and it was just like, it was seeds that I put in the ground, and months later, it's like this is a whole fucking meal like that. Like you think of a seed, it's technology. You have this tiny little thing, and it turns into food. It's technology, bro. That shit is crazy when you think about it. It's magic. It's unreal, and there's people who are starving in the world.
Do you ever think of putting a camera?
Ooh, do like a.
I do see people do that. Time lapse. I haven't done it myself, but as I was telling you that,
there's fucking millions of videos of that.
Yeah, the time lapses are so dope.
My video isn't gonna be the one to pop with my shitty ass camera. Meanwhile, people out there with like a 4K camera.
Word. Especially stuff like that because it's recording for mad long just to get that. That shit is work.
But yeah, I hope you guys do.
Back to farming.
Buy a plant. Buy a plant at least. Don't even, you don't have to go through the process of buying some seeds and planting the seeds unless you want to. I would encourage it. That's probably the best thing to do, buy seed and then transplant it into a garden. But I would encourage you to go to your local supermarket. At the end of February into March, they're going to start rolling out, stuff that you could, I encourage you to go ahead and buy a plant of something and then watch it grow. And you don't have to have like a outside garden. You could just have a pot, have a small pot, put things in, put the dirt in there or whatever, and just watch that thing grow. And it's just, you could freeze peppers and all that. That's what we do. Like with my harvest last year,
you just throw the whole pepper into the freezer, or like serious?
Well, it's best to de-seed them first.
Okay.
Because after it's frozen, if you want to take out the seeds, like if it's spicy or anything like that, the best thing to do would be like, cut it up, scoop out all the seeds, and then freeze the actual cut pepper. You could freeze it that way too. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you don't want all the seeds in your food, then I would recommend taking that out. And that's
so for vegetables that have a lot of seeds, like, are you taking all of them and planting them at once? Or are you like, I don't know how that works. Like, obviously there's fruit that has one seed, like, but you see with peppers, like there's millions of little seeds. So it's just like, do you take all of them and do you save them and like
one of them will work?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
One seed.
There's people who are hungry in the world.
Right. One seed can provide you a plant. If it sprouts, because sometimes you could plant that one seed. Like what I like to do, like what I'm setting up right now. I wish I could bring my computer so you could see my setup already. But
go to Farmer Fred on YouTube.
I haven't even made any videos.
On YouTube.
Once
your address.
I'm good. So what I actually do, which some people don't even recommend, is I actually put 2 seeds in there just to increase the probability of
double penetration.
Maybe being double penetration.
Gang.
They might both sprout. If they both sprout, you could split them, and now you have 2 plants later on. But if one of them fails, at least I have another backup.
Mm-hmm.
And why people don't recommend it?
Don't recommend what?
I thought you said that, or at least I don't know if you said that, but that people don't recommend putting 2 seeds instead of 1.
If you plan on keeping it that way, because for example, if you have, let's say they both sprout, so those are both pepper plants. So then they're both going to come out of the same space, and they're going to crowd each other while they're trying to grow. It's going to stunt their growth. So
okay.
If they both do sprout, you got to look at it and notice, where you could divide them, and then, split them, because those are essentially 2 plants. They're 2 separate plants. But you don't want to put them together in the same spot because they're going to overcrowd each other. It's not going to grow to its full potential. It's not going to grow properly. It's, you're putting 2 people in one space, essentially. Like, put it that way.
This is a question I wanted to ask earlier, but good now. Are you like watering this stuff every single day? Is this something like is there a lot of maintenance? You don't have to. I guess is one good question.
It's not a lot of maintenance. You don't have to water it every day. You can water it good and, maybe last 2-3 days and then water it again.
And do you see that a lot of vegetables need different amounts of water? Like, like, oh, I overwatered this, but this was fine because I was watering together, and you kind of want to keep those separate.
I don't know which ones need to be watered more or watered
less. I imagine
less.
like tomatoes would need more, maybe potatoes less. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. My father knows, or people who are more dedicated to it. Nice pops. I didn't know.
Oh, thank you.
That many pops.
But look, I have more.
I see Vision.
How many pops you got?
Visions.
I have a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Is that Peter Quill?
Yeah. Well, this is What If Peter Quill. So this is
T'Challa, dope.
T'Challa, yeah.
Black Panther was in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
About 20.
You keeping them on the box? You plan on flipping 20? Them or something?
Okay.
I'll take them out. No, I'm not flipping them.
You just like the box.
I just like them.
Yeah.
I usually have them out. What I'll do, like, my old apartment, I used to have shelving, and I used to take them out and just leave them out. But since I don't have shelving, I just leave them in the box.
I got Tyrion. There's Doom over my right shoulder. There's a Gohan one there. They're fun.
You got Gohan?
Gohan. Yeah, I have the kid Gohan. That shit is my
Gohan. Gohan. I was gonna ask Farmer Fred something. I forgot.
We're talking about water maintenance, growing shit.
Oh, is there like a fruit or vegetable that you just like you get excited to plant, or it's just like a universal thing where just like, yo, I'm hyped to do this. I'm hyped to plant this specific.
Yeah, I love that one.
There
are certain ones that I enjoy. Like I really enjoy the tomatoes. So it was just dope.
Yeah, tomatoes are good. Yeah.
But it was I really enjoyed it also because there's such a wide variety of tomatoes. There's so many different kinds.
Bro, it's crazy.
And you know, they do have different tastes. Some are a lot sweeter than others. So especially I had fresh basil and things like that. So like the Golden Jubilee tomatoes, those are delicious. The Cherokee tomatoes, which are like purple, those are like just really dope to grow because when they were ripe, they're like nice and sweet, delicious. I'll just pour some olive oil on it, you know, cut up some basil, maybe some fresh mozzarella, and it was just like, yo, this is such a fresh snack that I can have, and I feel good. You know, and you grew it. You know what I'm saying? So I am excited for my tomatoes. I plan on planting a lot of peppers this year as well, a lot of cilantro, basil. My mom last year was growing strawberries as well. We didn't get any strawberries, but the plants were growing. We have papaya plants, lechosa plants, but they didn't blossom. My uncle grew a pineapple, but it was like this. It was like this big. It looked so disappointing. Fake. It looked fake, but it was a mini pineapple.
Did it end up being good at least? Did he enjoy the bite that he got out of it?
Yeah,
I probably never got to that point.
Know,
yeah.
Can you grow ginger?
Yeah, you could grow ginger. That's a root.
Ginger is will be like
he grows ginger.
Nice.
Beans. I plan on growing beans.
Oh, beans.
Yo, have you heard of super forests? Like forest farm things where they I recommend looking into it. Where what they do is they make this almost like self-sufficient farm, you could call it. It's like a forest farm, some shit like that, where like it has certain trees that protect the food that's at the bottom, and like the food at the bottom is giving nutrition to the trees that are giving the shade, and it's like this back and forth thing. So it's not like when you think of like a cornfield where it's a monocrop, it's one crop over multiple football fields. This is just one really dense, very efficient place where you can grow food.
That's dope.
I don't know. You're obviously not going to go through the process of fucking putting a forest, together, but you might learn some cool little tactics of like how to make things very efficient and self-sufficient, where it's like this plant is helping that plant.
If you could send me that,
I will. I'll look into that.
Send me that because I do want to look into that.
Because that would be like the ideal situation, right? Like you get a group of people who live around this forest, and the forest is just growing its own food because you've already put in all the work to make it self-sufficient. Like there's these guys that have been putting all this work, I'm sure you can fucking find these guys and they could teach you to do that. And that'd be like a way you can not fucking, go into what we were talking about earlier about eating food that has been tampered with, food that's been fucked with, food that's not nutritious and all that. I'm curious.
That's essentially all we eat is food that's been tampered with.
Yeah,
only.
It's crazy, man.
The majority, I mean, if not all.
I had some natural cow milk the other day.
I hear that's good for you. Wow. I'm gonna do that when we go to DR. I'm gonna drink cow milk every day because apparently that's good for you.
I'm gonna try it too, especially for the viewers.
It was good. It was
Michael, we are heavily lactose intolerant.
Yeah, my gut is fucked up, and that's apparently the
trying
solution.
Natural like cow milk is apparently. Yep, we got to do it. Try it.
The reason why we're lactose.
Imagine it's the cure, bro.
Yeah, I think it is.
Imagine you can have milk again.
I think
makes sense.
I think it's gonna do it.
And you know what's crazy? Last time we went to DR, they kept offering me, and you could just smell the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
You could smell. For sure. It's like day and night. The difference between like having fucking milk from the dairy aisle in the supermarket from having fresh cow milk it's crazy.
Yep. What when you really think about it,
it looks, smells.
What are we eating?
And I remember the taste too.
You remember the taste? Nice.
Yeah, what are we eating?
I
don't know.
What are we eating?
Again, like even the shit like where it's vegetables that you're getting that is growing out the ground, but whatever they had to put to make sure that crop survived, like pesticides, all the millions of things, and then making sure that it gets to you, so you have to preserve it that way. It's like, so what is it that we're really eating? And then when you go even further, where you're going to a restaurant and they're going to use the even cheaper stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like, oh, there's no nutrition in it. You know, you don't know. And it's not easy to fucking grow food. It's not easy to put in all that work.
It is, though. It is easy to grow food.
Yeah.
It's not hard at all. You don't really have to do much. You just have to water it here and there. Yeah. That's it. If you could take.
So would you? So we never really got into the whole chicken business.
What specifically?
Would you consider like having a chicken coop more difficult than planting, like more maintenance, or
yes, not necessarily difficult, but definitely more maintenance. You know, I have to go out and feed.
You're going every day. You're going out every day.
You don't have to. It depends on how many chickens you have. I have a good amount, allegedly. I have a good amount, allegedly. Off the books,
in the virtual reality game, right? Your Oculus Rift game, you have a lot of chickens?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, you're
in Farmville, the game.
Farmville.
I have
if you're a piñata.
Yep.
That's what inspired you, yo.
I totally did, yo. I love that game.
How many piñatas do you
bro? You love that game, bro.
I love that game.
I know.
I bought it again. I was playing.
You bought that shit again, bro.
That's so funny.
It's
so
funny.
There's nothing like that game.
Now it's collecting dust.
Yeah, but I know I'm gonna want to play it again. I always want to go back and play the game again. It's so good. I've never beat it.
I don't even know how to play that game. I don't know anything about the game. I gotta watch some videos later on it.
You're gardening.
It's gardening.
This is where he fucking inspired him, bro. We just found
but it's kind of like Pokemon. That's
one of the main reasons.
That's why I think Michael would like it. It's kind of like Pokemon because you basically what you're doing is the beginning of the game, they give you a plot of land. You're just a gardener. And there's not an actual person. Literally all you see is like a shovel or a watering tool, and it changes. So water or you all of that.
You've been gardening virtually.
I've been gardening virtually for years.
I didn't realize that's what it was.
But what's dope about the game is that this is why I say it kind of reminds me of Pokemon in the sense that you're essentially creating a garden or whatever it is. It's a garden. And depending on what's in your garden, it'll attract certain animals. In the game, it's Viva Pinata, so they're in like a pinata look-like thing. But then these animals come into your thing, and then they're all black and white. But once they decide to be part of your garden, their colors come out. So then, you know, they're all colorful in the garden. And you could evolve them. You could change like what they actually are. You're catching more and more of them. You can mate them, have babies, buy and sell. So you could basically breed a bunch of them and sell them for money and use that money to make other things, attracting a whole bunch of things. There's a dragon in it. Come on, guys.
A dragon.
It's dope, man. It's
like dragons.
It's one of my favorite games of all time. There's nothing like that game. I've looked it up. I'm like, what other games? Because it's an old game. I'm like,
it's
what
not
other
really a game like that.
I've looked up like what other games are there that are like this game, and there's like, and I've literally read things like there's
Pokemon.
No, there's like nothing like it, but something close to it that's more modern is like Animal Crossing, but it's not really like
Animal Crossing.
You might actually now
I might love Animal Crossing.
You might actually really like Animal Crossing.
That's a lot of time
because people don't like Animal Crossing. People love Animal Crossing. Like the people that play Animal Crossing, you can see that shit in their face, in their eyes.
People love that game.
I built a village.
Fucking love.
Yeah, you can put mad time into it because you can build crazy shit.
And I feel like that's the same with Viva Pinata. Like people who like Viva Pinata, they love Viva Pinata.
IGN. Yeah, remember when IGN was like incredible? You remember when it was like, yo, what IGN give it? IGN rated it this. IGN gave this freaking Viva Pinata game an 8.5. IGN gave it them.
I think the people that made Viva Pinata made Banjo and Kazooie. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah. That's
classic. So pinatas are like chickens. And the chickens you were saying earlier. Sorry, I'm trying to psychopath.
Oh, yeah, what was your point?
You had a question. You had a question, Kev, earlier about.
That's what I asked. basically, do you feel like having a chicken coop has more maintenance than planting?
Wait,
Like,
yeah, it's definitely way more maintenance than planting.
that's what I asked. Yeah,
water, the feed.
Right.
You got to make sure that there's the cage isn't broken,
seeds,
so that they won't
yeah,
run out.
it's definitely more expensive because you got to continuously buy feed for it. When with water, you're just watering the plant.
What do you do? And then Nelson watches it over when you leave. But like,
I mean, I don't really leave, but you could also set it up depending on how many chickens you have. You don't really need that many chickens.
Yeah, I'm just curious how much you can, because the idea of pets, for example, stress me out. Because if I want to go on vacation and I can't find a dog sitter, I'm trapped.
Right.
So the idea of chickens, I feel like the same thing would happen. But I'm assuming they're not like dogs where if you leave the food, they're just gonna eat until they die. Like you could leave enough food and they're fine.
Yeah.
They can maintain themselves as
So
long as
I have automatic feeders essentially where it's just
cool.
You just put the feed in it and then they just eat whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a lot of chickens, like you'll be fine with 2-3 chickens. And I'm saying, well, for like a couple could be fine with like 2 to 3 chickens.
With 3 chickens, how many eggs are you getting in a week?
It depends on the breed.
Okay.
So
let's say
that's another thing. That's another thing I've like really gotten into is researching. It's not tough. It's a lot of fun.
For me, I don't like research, but yeah.
I don't like research.
It's not like research, like, oh, I gotta research this thing. It wasn't like that. It was just like,
you want to know
what do I think looks cool? What do I
want to Google top 5 chickens
on IGN.
Well, there's
the rating.
There's chickens that like they're laying chickens, meaning that they're mainly used for laying eggs. There's meat birds, which are mainly used for meat, and then there's utility birds, which kind of cover both. So
let's talk about a utility bird. Give me 3 utility birds. How many eggs am I getting in a week? Without
so they can lay, depending, because the time of the year will change their production as well. In the winter, they're not laying as much. In the summer, they will lay more. So depending on the breed, they could be produced laying an egg like every other day, or sometimes every day. Okay. But in the winter, they're not going to produce as much. But you could also buy layer feed, which is specific feed that helps them produce a lot of eggs. So,
but just at every other day, that's for 3 chickens. That's like 9 or 10 eggs. So you're getting a dozen eggs right there, just almost.
Right.
That's solid.
Yep. If you have 3 chickens, you're getting an egg a day, at least.
Yeah, at least an egg a day.
At least, but there's going to be days that you can get 2 to 3 eggs a day. You know what I'm saying? So, and you might eat eggs maybe 3 times a week. So, there's going to be a couple of days that it's just going to be rolling over to the next day. You're having fresh eggs. So it depends on how many, if you want to increase your production, you could get, maybe laying eggs. I mean, laying chickens, a laying breed.
And the chickens help the garden, right? Because they're eating up all the bugs. They're leaving droppings. It's good for the soil.
Right.
That was one thing I learned from the super forest thing, is that they will have ducks there. Same idea, to lay eggs, to have meat, and so that they can maintain the ground. That's one of the issues, is that
they will eat your crops though, so you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greedy motherfuckers.
Like if you have like lettuce and stuff, they love lettuce, so they will go ahead and eat your
They're gonna crush your lettuce.
Yep. One of my chickens actually have my alleged chickens have been behaving bad lately. So they've now learned to jump the fence, fly over the fence, and so they're like going in my front yard now, or they're flying into my garden, and I'm like, only one of them is doing this. Only one of them is flying into my garden. But I think it might be the same one that has flown over the fence, and the other chickens have caught on to like, oh, they're doing that. So now a couple of them have been flying over the fence, which they never used to do. So my chickens, allegedly, chickens.
You ever seen chicken run?
No.
I haven't, but I know the premise of it.
That's literally what it is.
They're mischievous.
They all fucking gathered, made a plan to leave the chicken.
What? I let them out.
Yo,
because they come back.
Yeah, they're great, because what I did was I essentially just made a chicken coop for them, made a home for them, and in the beginning I just left them in there for a while. That was their home. They got used to that, and then I opened the door and they were able to explore the backyard. And then at nighttime, as it's getting dark, they just go back into their normal sleeping spot. So they put themselves away. Like I wake up, I give them some feed if they need feed, and I just open the door. And the good thing about it is not only are they eating the natural feed, but they're eating greens from the grass. That's really healthy for them in their digestive system. They're eating organic greens.
Yeah.
So
makes the chicken healthier, makes the eggs healthier, and all that. Again, because you can eat a chicken, organic. But who knows what our chickens are eating?
Exactly.
So it's like, fuck.
So they're getting all the regular nutrients from eating greens, eating grass, regular worms. That stuff is all good for them. And then at night, they just go right back into the chicken coop. So at night, I just whenever it's dark, I just go outside and I just lock it. That's it. Just so predators don't get in.
Yeah, because the foxes, I know they fuck shit up. Foxes and
I don't really have that issue. I did have one casualty.
You don't have rabbits, right? Like rabbits.
I don't have rabbits.
I know rabbits are fucking annoying too, apparently.
Delicious.
Rabbits like they eat obviously like lettuce.
Oh, eat your garden. And
They will
so they can go in your garden and destroy your whole shit.
Yep. I don't have rabbits because I'm not really gonna. I don't see the benefit. It's cute. It'll be like, oh, this is cute to have a rabbit.
No, I'm not saying you own a rabbit. No, I'm saying like
you can
wild
eat
rabbits.
Oh, wild rabbit. Yeah, no, I don't really deal with
wild rabbits.
Issues from wild.
Yeah, you don't
rabbits.
deal with that shit, right?
But I also have like a fence around my garden. Like animals aren't getting in unless they're flying in.
Can you like take off their feathers a little bit and then they can't fly? Is that like what's the solution to that?
You could clip their feather.
Yeah. Because that could be annoying. Because you're lucky because your chickens come back, but that would be annoying if they were like running off, especially if you had a lot of neighbors. I'm sure people complain. But to be able to have
chickens are slick, bro. They're smarter than they look.
They are actually.
They're dinosaurs.
It's crazy, bro.
They survived millions of years.
They're cute though because it's interesting to watch because they all do have like different personalities. Some are a lot more loving than others. Like some are friendly. I have certain chickens that come to my door every day, but that's because I feed them. So I kind of train them.
Yeah, they do.
But they're friendlier. Some of them will let you hold them. Some of them will not. Most of them won't let you hold them. But some of them will eat out of my hand. Most of them won't. I have 2 chickens that will eat out of my hands right now, which is cool. Like I'll just come out and I'll have feed.
Those are gonna be the first ones to get cooked. You walk right into the trap.
One of them will definitely go. Both of them will go eventually.
Yeah, of course.
They'll serve a great purpose.
A greater purpose.
Definitely something to keep.
But it is expensive though. It's not like it's just, and not that it's expensive, but you have to continuously buy the feed. Yeah, it's not free. I got to buy the feed. I spend money on feed. It's not extremely expensive. It's worth it.
What's a month worth of feed come out to be right now?
I don't know. It depends on how many, chickens you have.
Okay, but I'm saying for you.
And how many chickens do you have?
Viva Pinata chickens.
It comes out to the same thing that you would spend on eggs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like less than $40.
Okay.
But that's for multiple bags. I don't have to do that. I really take care of mine. Like I literally have I have 4 different types of feed that I don't have to do. I can just get one type of feed. But I do really take care of them because where I'm eating that, and I also want them to be healthy. I want to give them good things. I want to give them good protein because we're taking this in. Plus, I also enjoy them. It's a hobby, like it's cool just to see them running around the yard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
I'm
nice
sure
to just be chilling and see. Yeah, and especially if you get ones that look cool, because there's a whole bunch of different breeds. There's some that are like, it looks fake almost. I'm gonna show you this one breed that I plan on looking into.
What do you mean, like because of the colors on the feathers?
Yeah, colors,
patterns.
Feathers, yeah.
They're patterns.
Patterns.
Look up silver laced Wyandotte.
Wyandotte. Yeah, because that's another thing. It's
Wyandotte is spelled Wyandotte.
Mike, you gotta somehow put it on the screen.
I got you. Silver lace.
Silver laced.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Mad
you have
cool,
one of these in Pinata?
I don't, but and there's a bunch of.
It's rare. You have to level up to get that.
It looks like they were colored with a marker.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a cool pattern.
Oh,
That's cool.
There's red
that
lace,
is
there's
so
red, blue lace.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes me think of what you were saying earlier about like,
pattern
you know,
is
how rewarding it
nuts.
is to
It's
eat
dope,
a
right?
vegetable that you've eaten. And like,
It-
I'm sure
it does
it's
look
more
fake.
rewardable to eat the chicken.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You could look up blue laced Wyandotte. So there's so many different like
Oh, the little
Pokemon.
chickies.
Pokemon.
this is a blue laced Wyandotte,
The
which is like
little
it's
chickies.
damn, can't really see it well.
Yeah, you gotta put that up there, Michael.
I got you.
Blue laced.
Dragonfly Farm.
So the
But
point
yeah,
is that there's a lot of different breeds, and some of them look really cool, and it's like that just looks dope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Sit up.
it's visually pleasing. It's actually fertilizing my lawn. It's providing me organic food, and you know, it's a bit of hobby. It's life. It provides me food, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
And it's more rewarding, and that's what I was just getting
It's more
into. Is
rewarding.
like, because not only is it gonna taste great, but when you're eating, you're like, wow, like I did this. And
I wasn't a big
Certain
fan of eggs.
Now you are
What?
more so.
Yeah, because I'm eating organic eggs.
They're orange.
The-
The yolk is different color, bro.
Orange.
Yep. The
Like, and
flower that I
know
was talking about earlier, the
Eggs look mad weird now, bro. I don't
the
trust
marigold?
eggs now.
No, I didn't
don't
trust
eggs.
I didn't enjoy eggs like that. I didn't really enjoy
Bro.
breakfast. I wasn't ever a big breakfast guy. I love eggs now, bro. I love these organic eggs. They're so good.
It's a shit, bro.
The flower, the marigold, you know, the flower that I was showing you.
Yeah.
earlier?
Yep.
That flower, it's good for your garden because it helps keep away insects.
Mhm.
So it's good for your garden that they're less prone to infection. But chickens like that flower. So they eat that and it makes the yolk more orange. So it's healthy for
that's
the
cool.
digestive system. So it's kind of like I'm gonna surround my
It's
garden.
a pattern.
It's
Not a pattern. It's a cycle.
It's a self-feeding
Yep.
ecosystem. And it's also their flowers. You know what I'm saying? They look
true.
nice. You know, they're nice. So it's the flowers are protecting my garden. The flowers are healthy for my chickens. The yolk is going to be more orange. It's going to be healthy for that digestive system.
Healthier for you.
And that flower is actually healthy. I could just eat that flower. It's an edible flower, and it has a lot of benefits to it, like mad benefits. Marigold.
Okay.
I'm gonna look up benefits right now.
And like I you know, you don't know him, but I know somebody who's growing some stuff that you shouldn't grow. That's
okay.
Now getting legal.
Yeah.
Marijuana. And it's the same idea where it's another thing that you enjoy more.
Address.
Marigold.
The mugshot. But
listen,
you enjoy it more because you know this was just grown out in a backyard by this person, and it's just like it is this. You feel more connected to this stuff. Like when your father shows up and he gives me lettuce, and it's like, and I'm eating, and it's like he grew this. You just
right.
I don't know. It's like
it
when
tastes
you
way
cook
better
for yourself. It tastes well for sure. You know, because it's getting more nutrients. It didn't sit in a fucking truck for 16 hours on the way here. Like all that shit. Wasn't sitting in a supermarket. Wasn't being touched by all these people. It wasn't.
Yeah, your father grows what? Romaine.
He grows a lot of romaine. He grows a whole bunch of different types of.
And do you remember that whole fucking romaine outbreak?
The salmonella.
Yeah, that's happened multiple times. Uh-oh. You need an antenna. I still got you, Freddy, or is that?
I'm still here.
Okay. Look at
I'm just waiting for Kevin.
Look at Kevin.
It froze a little bit.
Check out the benefits to that rinky dink little flower.
Rinky dink, riggedy dinky dink.
I shouldn't say rinky dink.
Rinky dinky doo, riggedy
It's made into ointments.
I love you.
Lettuce.
This thing is made into ointments. You could eat it, and it helps with fevers. It helps with jaundice. It helps with stomach ulcers. It helps with pink eye, if you have pink eye. It helps with your liver problems. It helps with burns and wounds, and it helps you to stop bleeding as well. So it's like there's so many benefits.
Miracle plant.
Marigold, and it's a flower.
You know what's beneficial too? Oregano.
I love oregano.
You guys can't grow oregano out there, right?
I take
You can grow oregano.
Can you grow
okay.
It's
oregano?
not the same. What happened?
I take oil of oregano, and that shit is so beneficial.
Oregano oil?
Oil of oregano.
Oil of same shit. Oh no, it's different.
No, it's the same.
Oil of oregano.
What does that do for you?
Mad beneficial. Look it up. It's good for your immune system. It's good for like if you have excessive mucus.
Wow.
That's just good for like I think breaking down whatever you have in your lungs. Like so if you're sick and shit, just take a couple drops. Like what I do is I take a couple drops under your tongue.
Flavor.
So it goes to your fucking bloodstream quicker.
Like
so like
2 days I'm good. Yeah,
bro, that's what that shit sounds like. Getting fucked up. I get high.
Word.
Well, I think we can think we're good. Anybody want to add anything before we close it out? I think this was a very educational.
You gotta sing, Freddy. You gotta do your
yes,
I'm not singing.
That's why we had you on. Every guest is doing it.
I'm not singing.
I'm not posting this if you don't sing.
I can sing it for you.
Damn.
Kev, sing for us.
Farmer Fred.
Great. Yeah, I'll put a link. Freddy, if you want me to find a link, or maybe if you don't, let me know. I can put it in the
I'll give you a link
description, so we can
let the people know.
Let the people
know. Let the people know where to reach you. Where the people. Let the people know what's going on in your life.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Boom. Send me a link.
Send us a link. Send the viewers a link.
Send us a link.
Send us a link. We all want.
What link?
The one from Zelda.
I thought about that too.
Perfect.
I'm actually hyped because I have eggs in an incubator, and in 2 days, 3 days they're gonna hatch. So I'm gonna have a bunch of chicks soon in 3 days.
Dope. I want to see that. That sounds dope. I want to see that. But yo, this was fun. I had a lot of laughs. I learned a lot. Kevin froze a couple times.
Yeah, it's crazy. My internet's crazy.
Yo, I'm telling you, that shit is happening everywhere, bro. The internet is falling apart. It ain't what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be.
Internet's more money now. Y'all go to a grocery store, internet's mad money, bro.
The show.
It's not natural anymore. Mad
preservative.
Crazy,
yo, the
bro.
internet used to be so organic and nutritious. And now they're breaking down all the internet
Channel no
plans.
name.
There's not enough internet.
Channel no name, baby.
Yo, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys had fun. I had a fucking blast. Thank you guys for joining me.
If you want to see my channel, check out the link in the description.
Farmer Fred. Comment, like, subscribe on Channel No Name. Comment, like, subscribe on Farmer Fred.
Yes.
Music coming soon. And anything else? I don't want to say bye. I don't want to hang up. This is great.
Well, you could hang up and we could chill.
Let's do a second video.
Yo, another hour.
To be continued. I love you guys. Kevin, my man. Freddy, my man. You guys are the fucking best. This is amazing. Let us know if you guys want us to talk about another topic.
This is what we do. Vampire.
Hey,
gonna
goodbye.
find my baby, gonna hold her
you tight.
Grab some
afternoon delight.
My motto's
gonna plant some plants,
right
gonna grow some chickens, gonna grow some plants, and gonna eat some eggs, some oregano.
Have some broccoli.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Freddy